Hello everybody, welcome to your reading for what is coming for you in April 2025 in terms of your astrology. So for the first part of this video, I have my very cute board here and I'm going to talk to you about the transits and the things that are happening, specifically where the planets are in the sky this month. If you want to go straight to your reading, where we talk, specifically about probably the things that you really want to know about your life, you can go straight there. The timestamp is in the description. But if you would like to sit with me and do some astrology for a second, please feel free. We will go through it quite slowly, and I want to talk about the themes that are coming up in April, and I want to talk about, for example, we have an event where Venus meets the North Node. A lot of cool things happening there. We have a full moon, we have a new moon, a lot of things going on. And I wanted to go into a bit more detail about what that means for the planets and what that looks like in terms of the sky and how they relate to each other. So April as a whole is a month for, instead of wearing your heart completely on your sleeve, it's a month for putting your heart to work. It's a month for having some passion in what you do. It's a month for in your interpersonal relationships and giving them a little bit of a jump start, a little bit of excitement. There's new dynamics in your interpersonal relationships. There's a bit more energy, a bit more of let's put some effort into this. Let's move forward. There is a bit of miscommunication throughout April. I will say that, we have Mercury still retrograde for a while in April. It is moving back into Pisces, as you can see, if you're watching this in March. It is here, going backwards in the sky, moving into Pisces, just like Venus as well there. And this period of time is going to really focus in on your responsibilities, your commitments that you have, and any insights you've received during March. It's a month to really let boredom inspire everything you do. Anything that you've been feeling like, oh my goodness, this is so long, this is such a slog. Now's the time to pick up the pace a little bit. We have a lot of Aries energy, which we did at the end of March, but this is going to really ramp up now that we have Neptune moving into Aries, and then these guys will continue to join them, and then later on, in a couple of months' time, so will he. So I'll explain what each of these planets are before we start. We have Mercury here in Pisces. We have Venus here in Pisces. We have Saturn in Pisces. We have the Sun in Aries. Neptune in Aries. Neptune is a newcomer in Aries. Say hello. It's been in Pisces for a long time. We have Uranus in Taurus. Jupiter in Gemini. Mars in Cancer, which will move into Leo later on in the month. And we have Pluto in Aquarius. The North and South Node, Pisces, Virgo. You might notice that I didn't put the moon on the board. That is because she is here, do not worry, but that is because she moves a lot during the month, and I thought it would be best to just pop her on the board when something significant happens between her and another planet. AKA, there'll be a full moon, there'll be a new moon, there's some conjunctions, so I just wanted to leave her on the side for now. She is a main character, just not right now. But as we go into the month, Venus, which is, the planet of pleasure, creativity, is the planet of what we would consider relationships or one-on-one connections, is still retrograde. It still is. She's still doing her backwards journey. And this is a period of time to really keep noticing the details of your interpersonal dynamics. So in the relationships that you currently hold in your life, what needs reworking in that area, and how are you going to rework those things in order to make them feel more smooth? Obviously, with Mercury retrograde, we've had a lot of miscommunication. With Venus retrograde, there's been a lot of maybe some back and forths with either some people from the past, or with our current partners that we have, or with an idea that maybe I want this in love, no I don't, I want this in love, no I don't. Or your creative projects are sort of, not going the way that you wanted them to, and you're sort of starting to think, oh God, I need to redo this. I just don't really know how. Now is the time where you're going to be like, Okay, this is very important, especially because on the first day of the month, April the 1st, we have, obviously, such a weird thing to say, we have Venus meeting the North Node. This is actually quite an interesting day for love. I just wanted to put that out there. Very, very forward thinking. Venus will be in Pisces, loves being in Pisces, very dreamy, very romantic. The North Node is there as well. We're moving forward, some sort of fairy tale situation. If any of you are looking for love, April the 1st, don't dismiss everything as an April Fool's. It might actually be genuine, but it will be very, very romantic, very auspicious, very nice. Venus is retrograde, but you know, as much as people will try and scare you with the retrograde situation, don't be afraid. Venus is a benefic planet. She's good. She tries to give us loads of beautiful gifts. So don't worry about it. And Venus will be in a sign that it really particularly likes for this part of April. It's a really good day to go and get things, you know, like if you've been thinking about sending that text, although there is Mercury retrograde happening as well. So if you are thinking about sending that text, this is a great time to send it. It is also the period leading up to this, the last week of March. It's also a great time to think about whether you really would like to send it. If you are committed to sending it on the 1st, it's an excellent time. But if you're not sure, maybe steer clear of that one. But it's likely to get a decent response if that is something that you are looking for. But yeah, so we have this retrograde's most important themes are going to sort of come up to the surface around the 1st of April. And there is going to be a feeling from you guys of like a hunger to increase your connections, to increase those business partnerships, to put some effort, some energy into those interpersonal dynamics. And if there is a little glimpse of more excitement, of more moving forward in that area, please just follow it. Go with your intuition on that one. It's a time really to just feel the energy and be like, yeah, I'm going to go with it without thinking too much. We still have a bit of Aries energy sort of reverberating at the moment anyway, because these guys were just in Aries, and they've only just moved back and will be going again. So they're sort of taking a little step back, having a bit of a romantic, poemy, artistic moment before they get their drive back in and go into Aries and move forward quite a lot. So if on the 1st of April or thereabouts, you start to really see and more excitement in terms of your business partnerships or your creative projects or one-on-one relationships of any sort, follow the energy. Don't get too carried away. We need some boundaries in this situation as well. But it's a good day. Like, free yourself from some of these little setbacks that you've had in those areas. Sort of go with the creativity and enjoy just being there for pure pleasure. If you are wanting a date day, this could be a great date day for you and your partner, or you and your, you know, situationship person, or just some friends or something that you really enjoy. This is a good day to do it. So I would really look out for that. And then on the 6th of April, there's quite an actually exciting day for a lot of things, really. You have this beautiful sun sextiling Jupiter. So they're 3 signs away from each other. That's what we call a sextile. When you hear people talk about sextiles, that's what they mean, you know, 1, 2, 3. And they meet up and they witness each other at this angle. And there's something really beautiful about it. It's a great day for success. If you are looking to finalize a project, or even just not even finalize, but think of an idea for a project, there might be some ideas that come to you, some sparks of creativity, some sparks of enthusiasm that come over there. And it is a great day to also, if you have any lucky things, like, you know, a crystal that makes you feel lucky that you carry in your pocket if you're going to do an interview or something difficult, or you have a specific like ritual that you like to do, or a way you like to meditate, or a manifestation exercise you like to do, or even a prayer that you like to say that makes you feel comforted, really dust that off. You know, if you haven't done it in a while, really start to think about that. Put your crystals out in the moonlight, and do some cleansing rituals, and just really live in that sort of lucky energy. It's a really nice day. There's a bit of a boost of enthusiasm, a bit of a boost of abundance. If you are going to apply for a new job, good day to do it. It's a key date for success for this year. There's a lot of generosity to be had and a lot of blessings to be found. This will depend, obviously, where that sits for you. But there are a lot of blessings to be found in this day. And also, not only that, there is a trine between Venus and Mars. You have Venus here and Mars here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They make a 120-degree angle, which we call a trine. It's a beautiful moment to really like fight for the right to have fun, right? Like fight for the right to love. Really put the effort into just enjoying yourself, just embracing some creativity. So this all happens on the same day. We have these two very auspicious interactions between the planets. And it's just a really nice time for you to enjoy. If you find yourself questioning, oh God, why am I having a good day today? I don't really know. Is something going to go wrong? You know, when you have that little voice in your mind that's like, don't enjoy this. This is going to go wrong again. Just don't listen to that today. Try and say, you know what? Thank you so much for your input, but I just kind of don't care. And just enjoy that, live in that. And you know, by April the 7th, the focus really shifts to from like seeking love to like really putting the labor into love. All right, you know, like enjoying that level of patience, that commitment, the effort, you know, your dedication. Like this is the time where instead of focusing upon that romantic, dreamy sense of like, I really want a partner, I really want to embrace my relationship more, I really want to do this, and this is so romantic and so royal and so lovely. It's a time where you're like, you know what, relationships require work. Like they require work. No matter how much you are, you know, bold, head over heels of like, this is a romantic fairy tale, like relationships require work. And by the time we hit the 7th of April, we're really starting to think like, okay, what work needs to be put into my relationship? You might not be going through a bad time in your relationships, or you might not even be in one, but it's more of a time to be like, what in my relationship causes it to go to a place that I don't like? And what causes it to resolve itself in terms of any conflicts or any disagreements or just anything that makes you clash a little bit? And it will be very obvious around this time what the cause and effect of that is. Like, what is it that in your relationship makes things go a bit awry, and how you can work on that, you know? And it's no shame. Like, things require work, and you're going to start to realize, and these things are going to start to bubble up, and you're like, okay, this is my fairy tale. This is what I want, but there's something that needs to change. There's something that needs to shift. And that'll be something you have to think about. You know, showing up for each other is going to pay off. Showing up for others, having other people show up for you is really going to pay off around the 7th of April. So it's worth you realizing, or worth you observing where you need to show up more, and putting that bit of ego aside of like, oh, but I always show up. I do this for them every day, and I do this for them every day. But do you show up in the ways that they need you to show up, or do you show up in the ways that you would like someone to show up for you? And that really is the question. You know, you might wash the dishes and clean the house every day, and you think like, oh, this is really helping. They don't have to do it. Like, why don't they think I show up for them? But do you tell them, like, I really love you on a day-to-day? Do you tell them how beautiful you think they are? Or do you make sure they go to bed at a certain time because you know that it's better for them? You know, how do you show up in a way that is what they really need from you? And then if you feel sort of disconnected in this time from fun because you are putting so much work into this, like really just let the mundane inspire you. We still have the Aries energy going on, you know, we have the fantasy Pisces energy. So let those things inspire you. Let, like, you know, even if you catch yourself being like, oh my God, this is so much work, I'm so bored, Like, how can I make something fun out of this? Like, how can I do something with this? You also have the Mercury retrograde ending on the 7th as well, which might prove good for any conversations of disagreements that need smoothing out over this time, okay? Because I'm sure some of you, some of us, some of anyone has experienced disagreements and some short tempers in this Mercury retrograde. So that's okay. That's going to end on the 7th, which is really, really good. We're all going to really look forward to that. And then, you know, on the 7th, the sort of communications that we have been experiencing that have been tied up, you know, like a big old knot, are going to start getting untangled, and we're going to feel that sigh of relief that we all have wanted to feel this whole time. The same with Venus, actually, because on the 12th, Venus will also come out of retrograde. Excellent. Thank you. Lovely. I mean, Venus retrograde, not too bad, but it is great for it to be out of it. So on the 12th, you know, Venus comes out of retrograde. It enjoys itself in Pisces for the last little bit. There's a forward momentum here. You know, there's a lot of good interactions that happen around this time where they'll feel like they flow more, and you'll feel like they're more romantic and loving, or like just full of nice words, kind words, nice things. You know, things that are positive, that are really going to help you feel more calm, because things have been a bit direct, and they will continue to be direct just now when Venus moves into Aries later on. But for now, on the 12th, enjoy I say romance, but I don't just mean romance, I mean like poetry. You know, where people use their words just very nicely, and you get to enjoy it, which is very, very cute. I think that this is also a really good time to pause for a minute, you know? Like, think of any insights that have come up throughout this Venus retrograde, and the Mercury one as well, to be honest, this sort of retrograde season with the eclipses. Take a second to really integrate any lessons that you've learned during that time to move forward into something a little bit different. What happened? What was brought up for you during those retrograde? What did you have to revisit? What was quite difficult? What did you find you want to let go of? What was no longer serving you? Or what came up out of the blue that you were like, oh God, I don't need this. And how can you stop that happening again? Or how can you deal with it differently now? How can you deal with that in a more effective way? Especially in terms of your communication. How can you communicate more effectively with others? What have you learned in terms of the way that you love, in terms of the way that you define what pleasure means to you, what fun means to you, and what it means to have a bond with others as well? I think that is a really important thing to remember. And then on the 15th, we have this little guy of Mercury moving back into Aries. He's ready for more direct communication. He is ready to, you know, say the things that need to be said. Sometimes maybe have no filter, but it's less about not having a filter, and it's more about being honest, you know, and saying things more of an impulse without overthinking them. So we have Mercury going in there on the 15th again, which is, you know, it's cool. But what I forgot to say was that on the 12th, because I've just realised we've skipped to the 15th, on the 12th, we have a full moon in Libra. Where is she? Here. I know she's a crescent moon, but just forgive her for being that. She's a full moon, a metaphorical full moon, and you can tell that. But we have this full moon on the 12th of April. Now, full moons are all about letting go. They're all about things that you've learned. They're all about things that, you know, what you want to take from the last cycle of the moon, and what you want to let go of, and kind of say, okay, well, I'm done with this. That was a great lesson to learn, but now I've moved on from that, and I'm not going to do that again. This new moon being in Libra is all about like strategy. It's all about fairness. It's all about balance. And it's all about striking that balance between what your head says and what your heart says. Libra isn't generally considered like the dual sign. We always talk about that in terms of Gemini. But for me, Libra is an extremely dual natured sign, right? You have one thing on one side and one thing on the other, and how do you balance in between them? So what have you learned during the last cycle, which has meant that you've had to really focus on keeping things balanced? What have you learned about strategy? What have you learned about moving forward with grace, moving forward with integrity, moving forward with love in your heart, you know? And what have you learned about the times where you have sort of let one of those slip by the wayside? You know, when have you allowed your heart to lead you into a place that wasn't good? Where have you allowed your head to lead you somewhere that maybe you didn't really allow yourself to feel much of that, and actually you wish you had now looking back? So it's really important that during this sort of full moon situation, you take the time to reflect. And what part of you, and in terms of the balance between your head and your heart, what part of that is feeling illuminated for you? Is it in terms of a relationship that you got into too fast and you let your heart lead you and it didn't really go somewhere that you wanted? Or you made a decision based on how you felt in the moment and it wasn't necessarily the best decision? Were you impatient? Did you wait too long? Did you spend too long thinking about something that could have been a beautiful opportunity and miss it? What is being illuminated for you about that? What are you boiling these things down to in order to really find that equilibrium between the two? And also, like, how have you grown in those areas? Like, how have you grown in terms of the way that you can implement balance? How have you grown in the ways that you can be fair? How can you have you grown in the ways that you have integrity? Like, what is it that you've learned over the last cycle that's made you feel like really super sure about your decisions? Because Libra can be a super indecisive sign. So what have you learned about not making decisions, and what have you learned about making decisions too fast? What opportunities have you missed out by not choosing? And what opportunities have you missed out on by choosing too quickly? And that's something to really focus on in that period of time. And then we move to there is a Saturn conjunction between the North Node and itself. So here we're really going to start to think about what it means to have boundaries moving forward, like what it means to be really responsible and take care of our own responsibilities. You know, what have we committed to that we want to move forward with? And what have we sort of committed to, but not really, and it's fallen by the wayside, and we're like, yeah, whatever. And how do we feel about that? Like, how do we feel about showing up to those commitments? And how do we feel like the commitments that we made that were kind of commitments and we never really stuck to them? And how did that make us feel? How did that make other people feel? So that's on the 21st. And yeah, it's really a time to sort of focus on your commitments, I would say. Just be careful, like, about who it is or what it is, you know, in your life that consumes most of your energy. I think it's important to understand what aligns with your values and your priorities and what you want and who you are, and move that forward. Because if you don't, you're going to get stuck in this sort of half commitment, half not situation, and that doesn't really go too well. Especially if you really want to align something with you and something you really, really want to move forward with. If you do that, it's just never going to go where you want it to go. I think also this is another time to put in boundaries, but also there might be some boundaries that you have previously set that need testing. If you're feeling stuck and you have this urge to move forward, there are definitely some boundaries that you have put in place that really just need testing. How can you get out of your comfort zone? Are you stuck somewhere? Where is it that you need to move forward to? Like, how can you put that into practice? I mean, if you want to make things more sustainable in the long term, obviously these are all themes that you need to think about. But after that, we then have the Taurus new moon. So the moon, she's gone all the way around here, and now she's a new moon. Play pretend she's a new moon. But you can see her now. So the new moon is a really great, a really, really beautiful moment. It's a time to set intentions. It's a time to really think about what is next. And the moon quite likes Taurus, you know. The moon in Taurus is very nice. It's very sweet. We like it. It's very, very cute. And I think that this is the time for a fresh start, especially in terms of emotionally, in terms of what you want to nurture. Like, this is a fresh start. If you've been having any difficulties in terms of your connections or your relationship with family members or your children or things that you take care of, even in your garden. Like, I don't know, maybe you plant things and it's now, you know, it hasn't been growing too well, climate change and all of that terrible things that were supposed to flower in spring but didn't. Those things might start to flower over this new moon, or also you'll start to you know, find new plants that you can plant that grow really well. You know, that's a terrible analogy, but it also might be for you. Maybe you are actually a gardener. But if not, this is going to be about your personal relationships and about how you build things and how you keep fertile thoughts. Like, I don't know, thoughts of cultivation, thoughts that are generative, that grow, of projects that take time but do move in the right direction, things that you care about. So with the new moon, like, what do you want to begin? Like, what things do you want to start? What things have been on your mind that you want to move towards? Where do you want to go with that? Because it's a great time to sort of put those intentions out there and enjoy the energy for a minute where it's quite generative and quite loving and quite nurturing. This is a really lovely time to begin new projects or to, like, I don't know, plan for the future. Also a great time to cast spells. If any of you are witches, great time to cast spells, lovely. But yeah, it's really, really about setting fresh intentions, you know. It will be the end of April coming, and I think that you'll be starting to want to move towards May, you know, Taurus season. Oh yeah, I forgot. Taurus season. We've already moved into Taurus season. Apologies, Taurus. We have already moved into Taurus season at this point. So 20th of April, we move into Taurus season. 27th, we have this new moon. I also do believe that I've completely forgotten to say that Mars goes into Leo. All right, actually quite a big moment. Forgot to say that. Great, out of Soggy Soldier, Cancer. Love that for us. A bit more movement forward. And then the last thing that happens in April is that we have Venus moving back into Aries. It leaves dreamy Pisces. It moves back into Aries. It's direct now though, so we are moving in a fast forward momentum, and we are really sort of wanting to evolve. We are wanting to say what needs to be said. We are wanting to do what needs to be done. All of our feminine energy is becoming much more powerful. We are really enjoying that feminine masculine balance, but keeping that gorgeous energy that we have. This is such a difficult thing to explain. You know, Venus is all feminine energy, right? Regardless of what sex you are, what gender you identify as, it doesn't matter. It is our feminine energy. And when it moves into Aries, it gets this like extra boost of masculine energy, but still keeping the feminine. Think like big woman, CEO, boss wearing a suit and loads of makeup. That is, when I think of Venus and Aries, that is what I think of. Preferably red or black. You know, like that girl. The girl who walks down the street and is talking to the other CEOs and like telling them what's what, right? Like the person who's like, you know what? I don't have time for this. I have money to be made. I have things to do, and I have children to take care of at home. Get gone. You know what I mean? Like, she is full woman energy, but has that like patriarchal situation. That is Venus and Aries for me. If that analogy resonates with you, you know, I hope so. If it doesn't, I apologize, but that is what I think of when I see it. So we have Venus moving back into Aries. We have a little bit of a go, go, go. Again, lots of Aries energy going on. So that kind of sums up April in terms of the actual transition of the planets and how they interact with each other and all that kind of thing. What we'll do is we will go into your reading now and talk about exactly how that plays out in your chart. Okay, so, you know, we'll see properly whether the Venus, the Venus conjunct North Node is going to be more to do with your business partnerships, more to do with your relationships, or more to do with your creative projects. All right, so we will pinpoint exactly what that is for you and where that will go in terms of your life specifically. But that was just a little overview of what the planets are doing and how they're hanging out. Key dates to watch, I will repeat for you. So if you want to write them down, we have the 1st of April is a key date for love, interpersonal connections and relationships. Then we have the 6th. The 6th of April, very big key date. It's a key date for success with the Sun sextiling Jupiter. It's a key date for love, where the Venus trines Mars. And it's a key date for blessings, generosity, creativity, fertility, and all that lovely stuff. So that's the 6th. And then we have the 12th, which is the full moon in Libra, which is a great time for pursuing balance, making a strategy for the next cycle of the moon, thinking about what the balance is between our head and our heart. And then after that, we have we have on the 24th, Venus conjunct Saturn, which is all about having gratitude for who's been there all along for you. And, you know, listening to your favorite old songs and reminiscing about the past and seeing who's still with you and who's not and why you let go of them and how these wonderful people are still there or these wonderful things are still there. And then another key date is the 27th, where we have this new moon in Taurus, which is great. All about fertility, all about generativity and generosity, but generativity. All about nurturing, all about casting your spells, all about setting your intentions, all of that good stuff. And those are the key dates that I have for you. I am putting them on the screen for you now, just so that you remember, because I know that was quite a quick overview. But we will get into your reading now, so I'll see you in a second. Hello, my lovely Virgos. This is your reading for April 2025 and what is coming for you. So first of all, I will start off by saying that there is a lot of activity at the beginning of April in your 7th house. The 7th house is all about committed partnerships. I don't want us all yet to get carried away with the idea that these committed partnerships are surrounding relationships, because we will see a little bit about what they are later, because they could be about business partnerships, or they could be about finalizing some sorts of contracts, or anything where you're in a one-on-one dynamic with another person or another institution. So we will see. However, I am quite healthily optimistic, because this does involve Venus and Mercury. So we're going to sort of, you know, just park that for a second. But this is very, very nice. You know, we have this idea, well, the North Node has moved into your 7th house. If you guys have been having a difficult relationship, difficult relationships or difficult dynamics within those relationships for the last couple of years, we have an opportunity here to move towards something much better. So we do have at the beginning of April, actually starting right in the beginning, we spoke about this just now if you listened to the rundown of the astrology, we have this Venus retrograde conjunct the North Node. Now this is all happening in your 7th house. It's in Pisces, and it is an opportunity for us to really focus on the way that our interpersonal dynamics are, the way that we relate to other people, the way that we relate information to other people. And there's a lot in that first week of okay, who are the people I'm in a one-on-one relationship with, and how do I feel about them, and how do we interact together as a couple, as it were, you know. So if you are actually already in a relationship, you might start to look at how you and your partner really share things within the household, how you organize your time, how you organize the way that you take care of things in the home. Maybe if some things have been unbalanced, you'll start to I don't know. I mean, you're Virgos, you like a list, you like a to-do list, you like a calendar. So maybe you will literally be drawing up some sort of rota. Maybe this is within your home and you're with your housemates, or maybe this is at work, you know, maybe you'll start to finalize something so that there's more responsibility taken on by other people in the office, or maybe more responsibility taken on by you. And that might be thrilling for you. Maybe you're really looking forward to having some more responsibility at work. Or if you are sort of in like a situationshipy thing, you know, there might be more of a move or more of a discussion surrounding commitment. What does commitment mean to us? How are we committed to each other? Do we want to commit to each other? Like, what does that look like for me? And if you are, you know, seeking something from the past that was once a connection and now perhaps isn't, there's something here about really assessing what the dynamics are or were in that relationship and how you can move forward from that. Now, during this period of time, we are in a Venus retrograde and a Mercury retrograde. So I will say, I don't necessarily agree with some astrologers who say, oh, your exes will come back. But what I do think is that if they do come back, there is more of a fairy tale spin on the story that they will tell you. So it's not definite that people from the past will come back. However, it is a period of time where people start to put rose-colored glasses on and think, oh, this was so great before and this was so nice and I miss this person so much. Living in this kind of Pisces poetic fantasy world where perhaps you might feel more inclined to reach out in a way that seems a little bit dreamy. We will then move into Aries again afterwards. Venus will move back into Aries. So there is more of a direct way of communication, which we'll talk about in a little minute. But I think that if you do have an encounter with someone from the past, and we have a lot of things to do with Saturn as well during the month of April. So there's some nostalgia here. There is some bringing up responsibilities from before and like celebrating the people that have been with us for a long time. So I would just be very careful about anyone who approaches you in the first week, because it's not that their intentions aren't genuine, but it is just that their intentions might be a little bit skewed by this idea of like fantasy and illusion and like too good to be true-ness, right? But you do have these beautiful moments in the first week where it really does lend itself to embracing your connections a little bit more, really sitting in that, really enjoying being surrounded by other people, and really, you know, working on the interpersonal dynamics that you have right now. I think you should listen throughout April to the insights that you receive during March, because they will really tell you something about how to transform the rest of the year. March was a very full year with astrology. You have a lot of stuff going on this year with the nodes in your 1st and 7th house. It's a lot for you. So I really do want you to look back and reflect on March and how that treated you and how you found this Venus retrograde situation that's been going on for a while and what that taught you about your connections and your relationships. And also your collaborations, because when Venus is in Aries, is in your 8th house, we get a lot about collaborations when things are in that house. So how do you work with other people? How do you share resources with other people? You have this really gorgeous full moon as well. So there's something, the reason I didn't want to go like, oh, this is all about love, is because you have this full moon which is in your 2nd house, which is all about assets and resources, but also self-worth. So I'm wondering whether we'll get into the card reading part of this in just a second, but I'm wondering whether they will bring something forward about business partnerships or relationships that deal with money. Now, it could also be romantic, because of course, as partnerships, we may share bills or rent or a mortgage, or, you know, we have children and we have to spend money on our children together. So there is something joint about that finances and those resources. So we will see. I will begin with pulling some of these just to tell you like the main energies of the next of April. And some of these, like, you can't even see them. I'm sitting too far away. For April. And see, you know, where they take us. And we will go through the astrology as we go with the rest of the reading. So, what are the energies surrounding Virgo in April 2025? What are the energies surrounding Virgo? interesting. We had this one for Gemini. How interesting, because you do actually have some things going on in the 10th house with that Jupiter and Gemini, which is on, we have a sextile between the Sun and Jupiter on the 6th of April. So it might be something to do with that. But ritual also always screams to me, like, you know, the things that you do religiously, the ways that you are kind of stuck in your ways about things, but also the things that bring you consistency. So let's see. What other energies are surrounding Virgo for April 2025? Maybe some of you are Gemini suns or Gemini risings or Gemini moons, and you've watched both of them, and maybe there's a message in that as well. Okay. Transition. Okay, I want to take another one only because I want to see the transition. You know, because we've gone from, I feel this is trying to say that, like, we've gone from this rigid, stuck sort of to-do list of vibe, and then we're moving into a transition. Now, the transition as well, I was talking about Gemini, which is your 10th house, and also then we have Cancer. So Jupiter will be moving from there into your 11th house. I had to think about that then. I had to do the maths. So you will have this movement of Jupiter later on in the year. And I want to know what this transition is that's happening in April, and what that's moving towards. So I am going to pull you another one. Okay, great. I'm glad I did that actually. Because we're moving into abundance. Great. We love that for you. I don't know, you guys, bless you. You've got the South Node in your first house. Libra had it before, and now it's fallen to you guys. It can be really, really tough. It can be quite a shake-up of things. It can feel like you're going backwards slightly. And that can feel quite rough, especially for you, Virgos. I'm sorry to, you know, put you in a box, but you are very, very perfectionistic, and things, you know, you like things to be a certain way, and that can bog you down with a lot of difficult emotions. So I'm glad to see abundance here, because I feel like it's a little, you know, wave from the universe to say, hey, like, it's okay if you had a tough March. You know, you had an eclipse in your first house. So if you had a tough March, like, we're moving away from that now. It's all good, okay? Calm down, Virgo. It's all gonna be okay. It's gonna sort itself out. I want to know. So let's see exactly what is coming towards Virgo in April 2025. Let's see what is coming towards Virgo in April 2025. It's too many. Thank you, Spirit Guides. What is coming towards Virgo? Okay, interesting. Yeah, this is what I was talking about in the beginning, right? And you have this activity going on in your 7th house where we're trying to connect with people. Maybe with this Venus retrograde situation that has been in your 8th house, has been quite tough on you and made you feel a bit like, oh, I don't really know how to connect with people in the way that I was before. And so now with Venus in your 7th house, there's a bit of a movement within your connections and the way you feel about them, and how you conduct yourself in there. And we have, again, a transformation. So yeah, there's a transformation within those connections. That's interesting, because that is, you know, quite a marker for this. Especially with the North Node in your 7th house, you know, this next 18 months until later on in 2026, you will have the opportunity to move towards the types of relationships that you really want. Okay, this is really just repeating what I already said. Spirit guides, it would be excellent to just see what the next bit is. But yeah, we definitely have abundance coming your way. There is some beautiful luck. We have 23 on both these abundance cards. So I think 23 could be important to you. I don't know if your birthday is on the 23rd of a month. I don't know if your birthday is on the 5th of the month, or your birthday is in May. I don't know. Or that you are 23 years old. I'm not sure. But 23 is a number for you. I would definitely, if you see 23 a lot, just know that there is a message here about the abundance that you are about to have. Let's see. What else is coming towards Virgo in April 2025? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's quite That's definitely quite beautiful. Look, we have the South Node at the bottom. I really do think what they're trying to say is they know that you had a rough March. They know that you had a rough March. They know that things have been tough. They know that things have been slow. They know that things might have been a bit soul-destroying at times. But what they're trying to say to you is that in April, things are going to shift a little bit and there's more things to feel hopeful about. You know, there are a lot of things coming towards you that really will shift your perspective on what it is to live a full life. It will also really shift your perspective on what you want to leave behind in terms of the way that you feel about yourself and in terms of the way that you approach situations. Maybe some of you will start therapy. Maybe some of you will start couples therapy with a significant other. Or maybe some of you will start to understand more the dynamics that you have within your connections and how you want them to be. You know, perhaps some of you will start to take a look at the connections that are in your life and really be like, okay, this doesn't work for me. Maybe it did before. Maybe that was a pattern that I had before that saved me at one point, but it doesn't work for me anymore. I don't like it. It doesn't serve me. And so maybe you're going to start to really pin that down and see improvements in your connections just by saying, this isn't right for me, or this is right for me. Let's see, what else? I'd also like, Spirit Guides, if you could let me know as well, it would be fantastic. Whether this is in romance or finance or both, aka, you know, business partnerships or romantic partnerships, that would be great. I mean, it's going to be different for all of you at the end of the day, but I just want to know, you know, for the majority of the collective of Virgo, your 7th house is Pisces, so there's always something quite dreamy about it. But let's see, what else is coming for them in April 2025. You are great. Okay, so fine. So we know you're there. Great. You're being more like yourself. You are feeling more at home. Yeah, we have Vesta here. She's here to tell you, like, hey, you know, you are the warmth of any home. I don't know. Maybe some of you have felt like you don't really bring much to the relationships, or maybe other people have told you that they don't like your behavior in relationships, or maybe you felt a bit like you are the one who does wrong in relationships, or you've been told that narrative about yourself. And they're just saying, like, you're not, you know, relationships take 2 people. You're not the only one. You can be blamed for all things in connections and relationships. We have a lot of warm energy that also is a little bit quite a sensual energy, a passionate energy. So I do wonder if this is in your romantic connections. There's a lot of movement happening for you guys, which is good because I feel like you've been sort of stuck in the same place, especially after that eclipse in your sign. At the beginning of March. Very emotional, very heavy. Yeah, very. You know, we have the 12th house here. Anything to do with the 12th house can be quite difficult, can be quite insular, quite a solo thing that you need to go through, a bit of a solo journey. So that eclipse probably took it out of you. I think that you're going to be really reflecting in April on what that meant for you and how you navigated that situation and how you can carry that forward. I am going to ask separately what these partnerships are, but I am thinking that what they really want you to know is this is more how you behave. So in a way, it's not, you know, that someone's coming forward to offer you a contract or someone's coming forward to offer you a relationship. It's less of that. It's more of a, like, you feel more confident to go out and get that for yourself than somebody else just showing up and bringing you, like, I don't know, a gift at the door, a bunch of flowers, and they're like, hey, I love you. You know, it's not really that. It's more like you knowing your worth, understanding who you are, understanding what you want, and then you go and knock on someone's door and give them a bunch of flowers. That's the vibe that I'm getting from this. But I am going to ask anyway because I think it's important. But I really do believe that this is more about you than it is about other people showing up in a way for you. It's about you going to get and going to work on those individual partnerships. So Spirit Guides, can you just let me know, what are their partnerships looking like in terms of love in April? Yeah, I think this is what it is. You know, there's a reflection here based on how you guys, how you approach your partnerships, how you feel. Yeah, this is about you. This is how you deal with your partnerships. This is about the dynamics in terms of your partnerships. This is about how you go and get partnerships that you would like. This is not somebody turning up out of the blue and offering you or proposing to you or something like that. This is about how you deal with it. So if your ex does come back, for example, this is about how you discern whether that's a good idea for you or not, and how you discern, like, has this person changed? Like, is it worth it that I give this person another go? Is that something that I should really think about? That's, you know, that's the vibe that we're going for. There's movement in this area, but it's more of a, you know, where there's sometimes we take action, and there's other times other people take action for us, and we end up in a situation because of other people. This is more of a you take action situation. I'm gonna see as well, like, how is their finances? How is Virgo's finances? What is this? Is there new partnerships coming in there? Finances? What's that part saying? Well, that would be for sure. You know, I don't know. Maybe some of you started a new job. Maybe some of you are signing a contract of some sort. If some of you work in, like, in, I don't know, real estate, law, anything where you have to close a deal, sales, yeah, for sure. Okay, so if you are somebody who works in somewhere, how vague, like, you know, law, car salesman, or person on a makeup counter, or salesperson of anything, if you have your own business where you need to make sales, anything where you have to close a deal, this is great for. If you are somebody who doesn't work in any of those areas, and, like, for example, you are just somebody who is looking for a job or hasn't quite got up the ladder that they want to get at, this is somebody coming forward with an opportunity for that, and you signed in a contract for some reason. I do believe this is definitely about work, though. So if you are not currently employed and you are looking for jobs, April is a great month for you signing that contract. Somebody will come forward to you and help you sign a contract of some kind. This isn't, if you're looking to, like, move house, for example, it could be that kind of contract, but I don't see that. What I see, this is more work related. So if some of you have been looking forward to moving companies, definitely. If some of you have been looking forward to getting a job, definitely. If some of you are looking at signing up more clients to your, you know, maybe you're a personal trainer, for example, and you need to get some more clients in to have your service. There you go. You're going to have more signups in that area. If you are somebody who is a lawyer, there is contracts that you will finalize. There are contracts that you will sort. There are new things that you will come into contact with. So I think that is excellent. Excellent. I would like to know, you know, how your self-esteem is going to be as well during this time, because I just think it's important. You know, we've done others, we've done material, but let's do, you know, mentally, how are Virgo going to be doing in April 2025? Okay, we're emotional, but that's fine, because your 7th house is Pisces, and we're going through a lot of that right now. So, you know, we're emotional. And then Aries is your 8th house, which is also a lot. So, you know, fine. But you see, there's transformations everywhere for you, Virgo, and I really do believe that this relies on some sort of action that you've taken and some sort of bravery that you've shown. If you are putting yourself out there more in just general life, in terms of the people that you surround yourself with and the responsibilities that you have, this is a really good time for transformation. I do believe that something really cool is going to happen to you in April. That is going to be like, oh, I didn't really realize that this was how it's going to go. Yeah. You see, there's something super lucky about April for you. There is something very lucky about April for you. There is a feeling of abundance. There is a feeling of newness, freshness that is coming for you in April. I think that this is going to be quite a surprise to you, given that March was very difficult. Maybe March was full of twists and turns. Maybe you were very unsure. Maybe things weren't really finalized. Maybe things were just up in the air. But April is very different. April is like a bit of an antonym to that. Which I'm happy for you, because I think that, you know, having the South Node in your first house, having eclipses in your first house is really hard. And I think that you guys should be given credit for what you have been through and what you're going to be doing in the next month. I would like to also, because we have a new moon at the end of the month in Taurus. This new moon is going to be happening in your 11th house, community, groups. No, not your 11th house, sorry. Your 9th house. So maybe some of you have moved, and maybe you're feeling a little bit lonely. Let's see. So this new moon, what are Virgo going to be attracting into their life? Maybe some of you are on holiday. Maybe some of you are traveling. Maybe some of you have moved house and you don't really know anyone. What are they attracting with this new moon on the 27th? What are they manifesting in? Well, absolute joy and happiness. Great. Love that for you. Or maybe you're in somewhere where there's really nice weather and you're going to be out in the sun. I don't know. But there you go. New moon. So we're definitely on the right track with the intention there. So this is more about happiness than it is about weather. Thank you, Spirit Guides. Wow. Beautiful. You guys are expanding. You guys are growing. You guys are traveling. You guys are moving forward. Like, I love it. I love this for you. There's good things around the corner. You know, your persistence is shining through. The things that you've been working on are shining through. You have a lot of things to be proud of, Virgo. And you're going to meet a lot of people in the way. There's a lot of excitement to come. And a lot of growth. If you've been worried about, you know, the speed at which you are growing at the moment, or the speed at which things are happening, don't worry. Things are going to open up in April. They truly are. Things are going to really open up. Things are going to feel different. They're going to feel nice. They're going to feel more more hopeful, more abundant, more relaxed. There's some relaxation coming to you. You know, some calm, some joy. A little bit of joy, you know, and I like that for you guys. It's a tough road, South Node in your first house. I'll finish off the reading by pulling you one of these little cute Woodland archetype cards. They're very adorable. I love them very much. So I've been doing this for the rest of the readings. But what energy will Virgo be embodying by the end of April 2025? Spirit Guides, please. Oh, cute. You see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Okay, the goat and the willow overcoming obstacles. I want you to see this because I think it's very cute. Look, we all love a baby goat. And if you don't, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But they're very cute. They're very joyful. They're very jumpy. You know, goats really symbolize abundance. They symbolize free-spiritedness and resilience. We have resilience here with the mountain goat. There you go. Perfect. Love that. And really, they also symbolize being like oh my goodness, I can't speak. Success in solitude. So success that you have come about by yourself, which is very like quintessentially Virgo. I'm not gonna lie, because you know you guys work really hard behind the scenes, and people only see what's on the surface of your success. They don't realize how hard you work. They look at you and think, oh, he is naturally gifted, you know, like they can do anything they want. But the truth of the matter is that you do actually work very, very, very hard. And also the willow tree as well that we've got on here really symbolizes like adaptability as well as resilience. There's a lot of resilience in here for you. And I believe that, you know, Virgo, you're going to need the resilience that you've built up. But I think that you have done really, really well just to get through what we've been through recently. And this also represents like using your intuition, working out what is best for you. You know, this is all about you. There's a lot of things that you have more agency over than you might realize. And I think that you need to understand that, and you need to celebrate that about yourself. By the end of April, you're going to be feeling more healed. There's some sort of lovely growth energy to you, and you're getting really to grips with your own subconscious. I really want you to embody this energy of the goat, though, like the mountain goat especially. He can chill on top of a mountain without falling off. If we tried to walk up there, we would be goners. But he just sort of like stands right on the edge, knowing confidently that he is not going to fall. And I think that that is you, right? You have to live in the confidence that you're going to gain this month. I really love that for you. And I'm proud of you, Virgos. You really deserve to have a little bit of a respite after eclipse season. But Virgo, I really hope you enjoyed your reading. If you did, feel free to give us a little thumbs up. Leave a comment. I would love to hear how your April goes. I would love to hear, are you moving? Did you start a new job? Are you meeting new people? Did you find a new relationship? What happened to you in April? I would love, love, love to know. And if you're feeling super kind, please just give us a little subscribe to our channel. We will be putting out more content like this. So if you like it, you know, come back. But I love you, and I will see you very, very soon in the next video.